All right, so here we go. This is what's new in RC. So first thing, Redcat has come out with a new 1979 Chevy Monte Carlo Lowrider. Now, I know there's been a lot of talk about it. It's just another body. No, it is not just another body. It is a totally new chassis. It is actually, this chassis will particularly fit all different types of bodies because this one is only 260 millimeter as opposed to the old 287, I believe it was. I've got a slide coming up here that'll show you guys. It is running the same radio that the 64 ran.
Because it has 20 toggles, right? You got toggle switch it everywhere.
Yeah, it's got all the fancy toggles and stuff so that you guys can actually, do the buttons and get the hops going and stuff. But the configuration of this chassis is completely different. This is now running 4 servos instead of just the 4. No, they're not. Let me rephrase that. There's 5 servos on this one. 4 of them are connected to your suspension. One of them is being used for your steering. Let me make this play again here. We'll go through. I'll show you the next picture. So this is the new platform. Now, as you can see, it's got a 25 kg servo, and they're all HEXFLY servos, by the way. 25 kg servo on all 4 corners. The motor's mounted up forward now. The battery is now mounted right in the middle of the chassis, whereas the old one, the old platform used to be set up where the battery was mounted at the back, and that's how they got the really big hop before. So here's your difference. You can see on this one here, the battery is mounted at the back, and that's giving you that balance so you can get that really good hop. Also, with the old platform, they were running a Reefs Altros Servo, I think it was called Actros. I can never remember the name of it, but it was a 300. It was a fast acting, really quick actuating, and the 2 front shock towers were linked in with linkage that moved. So the shock towers actually went up and down. Well, now with the new radio or the new setup, those 2 front shock towers are set up on their own servos. So you can actually do side to side now with this. You can put it up on 3 wheels. You can do all these different things. You couldn't necessarily do all of that stuff with the old platform. It was a little harder to do. It was, groundbreaking, and they changed some stuff. As you can see, the motor on this one, on the new one, is mounted up quite far. It's just behind the front wheels. Where on the old one, it was actually set up on a bit of an angle going straight down into the rear axle, if you can see it there.
Yeah.
Still running knockoff wire rims. But like I said, the body style is going to be shorter. It is still a 3-piece body. It does still have a detailed interior. Let me see what else I got here for.
What's the width on that bad boy?
The width on it is, I believe, 200 still.
200. So you can still put a 200 mil chassis on there, or body on that chassis.
Yep.
260. So that's pretty much any.
That's pretty much the same as most of your on-road platforms, most of your racing cars and all that stuff, right? So the other thing I was going to tell you, it's got detailed interior, injection molded chrome plastic details, chrome decals, magnetic body mounts, and I believe it also comes with a set of normal body mounts so that you can start using other bodies on there as well if you do set it up that way. Yeah,
because so you can throw whatever car you want on there.
Yeah, so that's going to be a cool platform. Comes in at $459 US. Next thing we got that's a pretty new release here is the new Hiberya. This body is a front-wheel drive platform, 190 mil. Basically for the new front-wheel drive class, it seems to be running quite rampant everywhere else. But we don't really run them here. So, I mean, you could set it up as a rear-wheel drive, I suppose.
You can set
if
up
you
for
will.
scale spec as well.
Scale spec as well. I mean, it's
Scale
still got
spec.
the right dimensions. Next, we have T-Bone Racing. T-Bone Racing has come up with what they call the RC Wall. RC Wall is basically a big aluminum channel setup, rated to be able to haul 3 1/8 scale beaters. You know, so it can handle a fair amount of weight hanging off there. Quite bulky, good size. Like the adjustable posts. I mean, there you got a Rift and a laser nut and a Kronos, and there you can see the amounts that they're using for holding
All
them up. They're
adjustable.
rubber coated. You can adjust them in and out, right? Aluminum channel. I think it's good to see somebody coming out with some more storage solutions. There's not a lot of them out there nowadays.
No.
T-Bone Racing has now released a front bumper for the laser nut. That is basically a bolt-on direct fit, not a problem. They also have released a wheelie bar for the laser nut. Just bolts onto the back, protects that rear tire a little bit. Should be good. And they've got an exterior roll cage. So this is going to be good for those guys that can't seem to keep it off its lid. You're going to save yourself from scratching the hell out of it and wrecking things.
That's kind of weird, but
then Gen's Ace. Gen's
New
Ace
batteries.
has come up with some new batteries, a whole bunch of new batteries they released. This is a 3S battery. It is about the same dimensions as your Traxxas 3S batteries and about that configuration. The biggest one that I'm impressed with here is the fact that they have come out with some more 3S batteries and other stuff. And they are 2200, just smaller batteries. The biggest one is the one at the back here. This one. The lithium iron, not lithium ion, lithium iron. So these are the really good batteries that work really good in your transmitters. Gen's Ace has not made a lot of transmitter batteries.
No.
So this is one of they're kind of get delving into it and getting in there. 6.6 volt, you know. So we're good to go there.
So lithium iron, that's totally different than what?
LIFE.
Oh, LIFE, yeah.
LIFE. So lithium iron, right? So, yeah. And then we got some more small batteries for the SCX 24s, 450s, 800s, just little guys, right? With JSTNs on them. And then RC 4-wheel drive came out with the TEQ Ultimate Scale Cast Axle Set. Not sold as a set. They're sold individually. They are meant to fit and look more scale than the axles you get. RC 4-wheel drive really likes to throw around that ultimate tag all the time, I find. So, I mean, ultimate strength, I don't know. Ultimate, it does have some reinforcement there on the top of the housing, as you can see.
Yeah, see, that was quite a bit different from the original ones.
Yeah.
The original ones were just the pumpkin, and that was it.
And these ones are actually designed to fit on a 4-link style suspension. If you notice the way the mounts are, these are not designed for a leaf spring setup right out of the box. So this would be more geared towards your Element Enduros, your SCX 10s, stuff like that, right? Also, they've released a couple new wheels, Heritage Edition stamped steel wheels. So this is basically a steel wheel that's got smaller holes punched into it, still stamped in black. Looks good.
Ultimate? Is that Ultimate 2? Ultimate scale?
It doesn't say Ultimate. It just says Heritage.
Ultimate.
Heritage.
So wait
Fuel
for the Ultimate
off-road
series.
155s in gunmetal. Now, in typical fashion, RC 4-wheel drive likes to release their really, really, really unique wheels in a 155 first because they want to, and then they come out in a 1.9 usually. It's weird. But it is an actually licensed fuel wheel beadlock. Just get a load and take a look at all of those wheel nuts you got to put together.
Scale accessories.
Oh, yeah. They do, to make them scale, they do have the centerpiece So there's a center knockoff in there. Well, not a knockoff, but it's actually threads onto the whatever left of your thread you have.
Nice.
So, or over top of the head. And there's a special wrench for putting them on. MST came out with a new CMX scale RTR. Now, I'm going to back this up a bit here for you guys to see this. This guy, whoa, so fast.
So fast.
This car is, look at the wheelbase.
Tiny.
242 millimeters. That is like mini size body. That's like M chassis style body.
Yeah.
In crawler. With the motor mounted forward. They're rolling in at about $300 US for the RTR version. They're 195 millimeters wide. So what I'm getting at here is if you really don't care about how fast your mini car is when you're racing, you could take this body and put it on there. The only thing you need to complete it is a battery and a charger and batteries for your transmitter. Other than that, she all comes ready to run. Ready to go out of the box. So that'll be a fun little platform to see.
Fairly I think that's like more scale for like, 10 scale truck. Yeah. That's going to be a scale for that type of vehicle.
Carisma has come out with the Range Rover 2.1. So this is basically built on the SCA AE A1E, which I believe is a shorter wheelbase because of that. I'm going to see if we can find it here. Oil-filled threaded body, aluminum shocks, anti-torque twist transmission in it. They're calling the tires a scale tire with a white compound. Not really sure what white is going to be compared to everybody else. Everybody's got their own coating. Lower gear ratio, 5.92 to 1. Chassis mounted servo mount for improved weight bias. There's an optional rear bumper with a tow hook on it. Winch ready front bumper, optional as well. LED ready light buckets included. And it's Oxford blue. It looks more like a black to me in these images, Oxford but they're calling it blue.
So what's that anti-torque twist transmission?
So generally anti-torque twist transmissions means that it's coming out of the transmission from one drive shaft spins clockwise, the back drive shaft will go counterclockwise so that you're basically running opposite directions so you don't get that whole chassis twist.
Okay, right? So I've seen a lot of the crawlers want to do that chassis twist. So by flipping which direction each one goes, it kind of nullifies the forces.
It does have front CVDs. It's not universals, and it's not dog bones, so that's a big bonus. 17-turn 5-pole crawler spec motor in there, and they're claiming it to be a high torque metal geared servo. Now, high torque means, as everybody should know in the rest of the world, sufficient.
Sufficient.
Ish.
First thing to upgrade.
First thing to upgrade, servo. Pretty much always, right? There's a couple of shots of it. Wheelbase on it, 285 millimeter between axles, 480 millimeters overall. What that works out to in inches, I'm not entirely sure. I never figured that out. You guys can probably do the math on your own. And 75 millimeters of clearance to the pumpkin, so 7.5 centimeters. And then everybody's jumping on the same bandwagon. Everybody's jumping on the same bandwagon with the rear cages.
Back to that again.
Yeah, we're back to that. Everybody's got to do their own version of rear cage. So this is the rear half bed cage set, made to fit on a 285 millimeter or 313 millimeter chassis. So still intended to fit on any of the 12.3 and shorter wheelbases. And then also Vanquish. Vanquish came out with a new VRD1. Vanquish's VRD1 is actually the same chassis set that's in the new Phoenix, but now it's just a separate piece you can buy.
Oh, you can buy it for everything you want.
Right. And Trill Hobby has come up with a bunch of aluminum upgrades. I'm impressed with Trill. They tend to be one of the first companies that comes out with upgrades for newer models. They seem to be pretty bang on getting their R&D done. So they got front shock towers, rear shock towers, rear front steering knuckles, I believe. Front
That's
steering
the
knuckles,
SCX
right?
for the big one.
And then, of course, I don't know if anybody's seen this, but if anybody's actually seen the SCX 6, I'm sure the first thing you thought was this thing needs more weight. Well,
Yeah.
Trill thought that. So they decided, let's make some brass diff covers for it. Because
Excellent.
obviously a 30-pound truck needs more weight.
Naturally.
Right? I think so. I agree. Good call. I like that call. Let's do that again. They're also, they got little hints and sneaks that they are going to be releasing an aluminum axle coming soon. The Team Associated has re-released, well, not really re-released. It's called the Rival MT8 RTR. Now, Associated used to have a platform called the Rival. It was a brushless version, basically, of the old MGT. So they took the Nitro MGT chassis and they put another brushless combo in there. It was a kick-ass platform. It ran good, but in typical fashion, they discontinued and it went away and parts availability disappeared. And, now it's one of those, it is literally a shelf queen or else you'll throw it in a dumpster.
I think you want to call this one the Revival.
The Revival. The MT8.
VR music in the background playing in my head.
Yeah. They did have, they had a 1/10 scale version there, I think, of the Rival last year or year before. It's a blur. But that's what they've got. This is their new one, MT8 RTR, Team Associated. Should be hitting hobby shops soon. I already know they've already hit me up for whether or not we do some pre-orders or not. And that is pretty much our new product that has been released this week. So have you guys seen anything else or you got any questions or anything you want to know about? Over there in the comments. See, I always point the wrong way because on my screen, the comments are over here.
Well, you think it's going to be mirrored over, but it's not.
It's not. I'm crazy.
Now when I go to the mirror to brush my hair, it's all backwards.